lined up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with a few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Good evening, everybody. What's going on? You are tuned in to the Drive-In Speaker Box podcast. It is Tuesday. That's right, July 8th, 2025. I'm your host, Bo, the boom operator.
I'm Slick Doggy the Grip.
And we are a day late, but we are not a buck short. We're here to talk about movies. We had a 4th of July holiday behind us. We hope you guys had a fun Independence Day weekend. And I know that I had to work the 4th and 5th, but we did just do a work trip to the lake. That's where I was yesterday, so we're in the studio here tonight to do this for you. And I did go catch a movie. I did get to go see the new Jurassic World. I saw Rebirth in theaters. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later in the program. And then, we're going to get you ready for what's coming out in theaters this week. And Jake's going to talk to you about, what did you see, Jake?
Heads of State.
Heads of State on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it was a Prime movie, but not to get too into the review of it, but it definitely felt like it was something that was should have been in the theater maybe. So
Really?
talk more about that later.
Okay, all right. Well, we will get into that here in a bit. So, guys, welcome back. We're glad you're here with us. We need to jump into the news because that's what we do at the first of the news. A lot of stuff has just been like early reviews of Superman. I was scrubbing through the news rapidly because I've been at the lake and didn't have a computer with me. But trying to find something interesting to talk about in the news and was having a difficult time doing it.
Yeah, this whole past week has not had a lot, really.
No. There was one piece of news where it's not really news, but they were talking about Batman Beyond and why a revival series won't happen, and it's the guy Will Friedle, Friedle that did Terry McGinnis's character. He's like, I don't want to do it because Kevin Conroy is not going to be Batman, so I don't. Yeah, he's like, I'm having no interest unless you'll probably just have to recast it all.
Plus, Batman Beyond is like perfect, and don't mess with it because Batman Beyond is incredible. And the stuff they did with him in Justice League Unlimited was perfect. And everything Batman Beyond that is animated, not the comic books, but the animated stuff.
It's a great show.
Is very good. Yeah, and you can't be better than Will Friedle and Kevin Conroy and all that. It was too shui. It was too shui. Yeah.
Shui.
As Carl mentioned here in
on Twitch comments,
we did have. There was a couple of losses. Michael Madsen passed, and that was something. He was only 67.
But didn't he do some hard living though? I feel he looked like he did some hard living. Or at least from all the characters that he played.
I was going to say, all of his characters were always sweating and having a hard time.
They really were. They were always sweating and having a hard time. And, he was in a lot of movies, but he always played the same dude. And, everybody remembers him from Kill Bill and all of that. And what was it, Reservoir Dogs?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that. But,
and dancing and stabbing that dude.
And sweating and having a hard time. But, yeah, Michael Madsen, damn, dude.
Well, and then in addition to that, as another commenter here, Velvet Santa mentioned, Julian McMahon.
Oh, my God. I forgot that wasn't before our last show. And we just saw a movie with him recently. It was the Surfer.
Yes. Yeah. He was the bad guy.
He was the bad guy. The Surfer.
He was the butthole man.
Apparently, he was battling a kind of private battle with cancer this whole time.
Well, and the thing that sucks most about that is that he was the live-action Doctor Doom And then the Fantastic Four movie here, just right on the horizon, and that's a total bummer. Actually, I really liked Fox's Fantastic Four.
It wasn't the worst.
They did I liked the way that they did like Doctor Doom's origin story connected to the Fantastic Four instead of him being a gypsy scientist, which is his real original origin. Was that he had gypsy magic, and that's not me using this word. This
That was
is
just in the comic book.
1960s Marvel.
Yeah. What was that island that he was from?
He is the ruler of.
Yeah, it's something, some weird island. Yeah.
Gosh, I would know if you didn't ask me.
But anyway, yes.
Yeah, but the point of it was that Doctor Doom had
Latvia. Latvia.
I think I don't know. I don't think it's Latavia.
I don't know. I don't read comics.
But he had magic and science, and then through a failed experiment with his roommate, or maybe not roommate, just friend, or who knows, Reed Richards, he was scarred and everything. But the Fox thing did it cool, where he was a really cool bad guy because he got the space radiation with the Fantastic Four to give him the Doom powers and all that.
The Doom powers.
Plus, he got to be like Silver Surfer and stuff in the second one. But Julian McMahon did really good at that. And then he was in like Nip Tuck.
Nip Tuck was a surprisingly good show. Like, I remember watching when that first came out. My mom and I would watch it, and that was not a bad show. Did you watch Nip Tuck?
No, that wasn't really my thing. But
I was into it.
He was only 56.
I know, man. I know. Sad days.
But he was so good in The Surfer. So not a bad movie to kind of close out the career with, I guess. But super bummer. Yeah, both of them. Awfully young by 2025 standards.
No joke. Well, I mean, just looking at the world, maybe the getting was good, and they maybe they're onto something. Who knows? As I sit here drinking a can of Liquid Death.
They got root beer and cola and Dr. Pepper flavors now.
Dude, yeah, that's brand. This is actually, what's his name? The D&D playing hunk man. It's his company. Joe Manganiello.
Yeah,
this is his. But yeah, did you have any other news? I didn't have. There was
a little bit of news.
Shitty that I couldn't find any good news here.
There is a movie set to come out with Tom Cruise and Ana de Armas. It is called Deep, and it's like a underwater action thriller. And I guess WB was starting to get really worried about the budget, and so Tom Cruise is like, we're taking it somewhere else. I imagine he's an executive producer on this.
Do that.
Yeah, it has Tom Cruise, Ana de Armas. It also has involved in it Doug Liman and Christopher McQuarrie. So it's like just the biggest names ever attached to this movie. And WB's like, I don't know. Should we put money towards this? And Tom Cruise is like, we're taking it somewhere else. Tom Cruise is currently shopping new studios for his underwater action epic because WB didn't want to go over $230 million budget.
Okay.
But
Tom Cruise is like, we're doing it. We're going there.
Right. Well, I wonder how much of that is like his money also.
Probably. If he's executive producer, then yeah, it's probably a lot of his money.
Quite a bit. And then also Hot Wheels is carrying on with the making of a live action movie. I don't know how that's going to work.
Why though?
Is it people going to be like in a Hot Wheels? Are they going to be CGI people? Is it going to be...
It's probably just a movie about cars racing.
Yeah, like do people
tracks.
modify their cars? Yeah, is it going to have loop-de-loops and spins and jumps? Is it like, how do you make a Hot Wheels live action that makes sense? Is it like Death Race? Or is it like a more Lego movie?
I'll take a Death Race. Hell yeah. 50 points for the grandma. And then just cut out all the parts with Sylvester Stallone's butt.
Yeah, I mean, is it going to be like the Fast and Furious Spy Racers Netflix? I don't know, but there's no need for a Hot Wheels live action. As someone that likes Hot Wheels and movies, don't. But
it's just they're just struggling for an IP. Like everybody is trying to find. I mean, the Hot Wheels movie is about as silly as the premise of the studio where they were trying to make the Kool-Aid movie. They're like, we got this hot new property. It's Kool-Aid.
Mattel is doing this thing where they're making just movies out of every property they have, and they're like, well, look at Barbie. Let's just make everything. So. Yeah, they're doing all their board games and toys.
I would like a Polly Pocket movie might work.
Nah, man, screw that Mighty Max.
Well, I was about to say you could cross over. There could be a shared universe between Mighty Max and Polly Pocket. I don't know if those are owned by the same toy company, but I feel like it would be a...
I feel like they are because it was that same like
micro, the clamshell.
Yeah, you open it up and you have your adventure and
Yeah, do you have any other bits?
That was really it.
We start talking about Superman.
Everything else was the same thing, which is just more DC stuff, more James Gunn crap, more just Jurassic talk.
Yep, because Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Rebirth is in theaters right now, and Superman comes out in theaters this week. So early reviews are coming back, and everybody that's a James Gunn sycophant is like, this is his magnum opus. It's the greatest. It's amazing. It's the DC is saved. Oh my gosh, I've never had. It makes me love movies again. It's resurrecting comic book movies.
I've seen a lot of that, and a lot of it does seem like paid pandering horseshit stuff, where people are like, well, it's only stupid because it's an homage to the comics and how dumb they were. And like there is definitely like a read between the lines in a lot of these early things of people being like, yeah, it's poop, but it's like colorful poop.
Supposed to be. It's poop for a reason.
Yeah.
Though it's like the CGI in Flash was bad for a reason.
Yeah. Like I saw like a thing is like the lady that plays Lois Lane, Brosnahan, like she explains Lois Lane has never ever in the history of Lois Lane ever been a damsel in distress. Are you kidding me?
That's her entire archetype.
Yeah, there's like, I think there's 60 or 70 years of like that's her entire thing, and it wasn't until Dana Delaney voiced her on Superman the Animated Series where she got some like
muscle,
some oomph to her, where she's all like, you know, take a hike, fly boy. Like Dana Delaney made Lois Lane cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think before that, Lois Lane was always just
help me, Clark.
At her best, she was what's the actress name from live action Superman?
Terry Hatcher?
No. Oh, Lois and Clark. You're right. Terry Hatcher was a good Lois Lane.
Yeah, she was.
Lois and Clark was a good show. Live action movie. Christopher Reeves.
Oh, I couldn't tell you her name if you paid me. I know who you're talking about. Like, I could pick her out of a lineup.
I can. Someone's going to IMDb it.
Yeah, of course. That's the power of being at home.
I know it. Margot Kidder. There it is. Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, Superman. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. Superman's coming out this week. That's pretty much the only thing coming out this week. There's like a Nick Offerman like indie film called Sovereign coming out. Skill House, which is an indie horror flick that has Neil McDonough in it. So yeah, as long as he gets killed. It has 50 Cent in it too. But as long as Neil McDonough gets killed, then that's cool and I'll see it. Another indie horror movie, Abrams Boys, coming out. Many of those are probably not going to hit theaters near you, but that's because your local theater is going to be completely jam-packed full of dinosaurs and Supermans, and that's what you're going to get. Like Superman,
it's going to be big lizards, because in the commercial for that, he fights like a giant oxalotl, and you got How to Train Your Dragon in Jurassic Park. It's nothing but big lizards in the movie theater.
They're just all in here. There's all the super friends that he has. There's Green Lanterns and Hawk people and then there's Lex Luthor's and there's Crypto. I read one really great review from a somewhat quote unquote respected film critic that they said, and Crypto was adorbs. And I wanted to bang my head against the wall.
The pre the bits of the movie they released before the movie came out, where he's just the most annoying animal ever and beats the hell out of like a injured Superman on the ground, and he's just the worst dog of all time.
The only way that I would allow Crypto into this movie is if it was going to set up a dark Superboy story. Like, I mean, basically the one that's from Young Justice. Like, that's, I mean, and in that case, just watch Young Justice, where it's like, oh, Superboy finds out that he's an experiment from the DNA of Superman and Lex Luthor, and he can't fly, and he's a weird, fucked up clone, and then him and Crypto are homies. Like, I'll set that up. Like, okay, yeah, that's a cool storyline, because he's angry and he hates the world. But I don't think they're going to go dark with it, because every review that I've seen, it's like, these comic book movies have just tried to get so nitty-gritty and realistic and dark, and we just want to see lasers and poop jokes, and maybe someone get lasered in the tuchus. Wouldn't that be something? Oh my gosh, that'd be real funny. Or maybe Green Lantern makes a big old green ding-a-ling and hits somebody with it. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Like, if I see any of that shit, I'm leaving.
Well, and that's the thing that sucks, is that, like, this is like the first big DCU movie, and the Green Lantern they're bringing in is Guy Gardner. I hope they at least explain that the good Green Lanterns are like off-world, like
doing something else.
They're like, oh yeah, like Hal Jordan and Kyle Rayner and John are all off-world doing something.
They're doing something
important with the core. So here we have old Butthole Magoo. You know, I don't know. I was really excited to see Metamorpho on screen, and the more images and footage they've released of it makes me not.
Who's playing him? Anthony Kerrigan? Yeah, that guy. He's so creepy looking. I think, you know, good casting, but execution, we'll see. Because he was actually in Gotham, you know, so more DC.
Yeah. Velvet Santa says Michael B. Jordan should play Jon Stewart. No. Michael B. Jordan is a great actor, and he probably has like a physique to do that because he's been in superhero movies before and he does that kind of thing. But he still looks the same as he did when he was in like his first movies. Michael B. Jordan looks too young for what he is, and Jon Stewart needs to look like someone who was a Marine. Jon Stewart needs to look
a little more
like
grizzled,
look like an adult.
Yeah,
you know, like I wouldn't believe Michael B. Jordan on screen as a Jon Stewart. I need someone.
Just get Anthony Mackie. Just throw it at Anthony Mackie. He'll do it all. And they probably will. Because that's what they just call Anthony Mackie. They're like, throw in Anthony Mackie.
I mean, I guess they have Guy Gardner being played by old the rookie. What's his name?
We're bad at names tonight.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not doing great. He's, you know, he was the
Nathan
dude.
Fillion.
Nathan Fillion, yeah.
With the spaceship and the thing.
Yeah, that's where I was going. And so he's like an old Guy Gardner. I guess they could make a super young Jon Stewart, but that just wouldn't make sense because Jon Stewart's supposed to be like, you know, grown. I guess, you know, old, here's another name I can't remember that I really should. The voice actor from Justice League, the dude from Mad TV, you know, the guy that gets shot in Pulp Fiction, Phil Lamar. Thanks, Velvet Santa. Wow, I was like, I can't remember anyone's name, but I can tell you everything they've ever been in.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he ruined it for anyone else because, like, he is Jon Stewart, right? Like, his voice acting for Justice League and Justice League Unlimited is too good.
The deal with Phil Lamar, people do not give this man enough credit because he normally doesn't take, like top billing, but he's a very talented dude. You know, he does a lot of on-camera stuff, but his voice work is crazy good. No, he's awesome, man.
Yeah, dude, he was Jon Stewart, and he was half a dozen other voices at least that were main characters. He was all over Mad TV. He was Samurai Jack.
He was
Hermes of your boy Mako.
That's right.
Yeah, he was Hermes
in Futurama.
36 other characters in Futurama too.
Yeah, dude, he's so great.
He was Static Shock.
Oh my God, he was Static Shock.
Mm-hmm.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, Phil Lamar's awesome, and that's what I'm saying. Like his voice work as Jon Stewart though is like too iconic and too attached to that character for someone like Michael B. Jordan, who still looks and seems like he's a 22-year-old version of himself, to be like a Jon Stewart, and me be like, yeah, that's believable.
Yeah. Oh, Phil's a good Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter is one of my favorite characters.
Well, but he didn't
voice. I think he could be. He didn't voice that, did he?
In Justice League. I don't think
so.
The series. I think he did in a movie.
Maybe so.
Maybe the where Batman's plans are used to kill everyone.
Like they always
movie.
are. But I do love me some Martian Manhunter. But anyway, Superman is coming out. A lot of people have a lot of speculation on it. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I'm gonna
give
try
it money
and
come up with our own decisions.
They really have a guy named Jake Tapper playing a guy named Jack Tapper. Jake Tapper and Jack Tapper.
Yeah, it's coming out. It's going to take all of our money. Everybody's going to see it, and everybody's going to go, DC is saved. And then I don't think this movie even has to be good to make a lot of money. I mean, I think people are just going to go out and see it just because it's James Gunn doing Superman. It's the first DC movie to like get the gun.
Well, yeah, I guess, and it's like the first like Superman movie since the first Cavill Superman, because there was Man of Steel, but then it went right into Batman vs Superman, and there wasn't like a Superman movie, and this one is billed as being Superman, even though it has Green Lantern and Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific.
It's more of a Justice League
and
movie
Metamorpho.
than the Justice League movie was,
Right.
which
So
is weird.
we'll see how that goes. But one of the lamest things about most Superman movies is Superman.
Honestly, I'm glad you said it because I don't like Superman.
I do.
I can't. He's the boring one. He's the OP boring thing and everything, because his pure existence makes it to where they have to think harder about things that will stop, or hurt the planet. So like, okay, no, if we're going to do the storyline, we have to figure out a way that Superman can't fix it. And then they're like, all right, this guy has, kryptonite underwear that he just pantsed Superman with. And so he's out of the equation. Now we can actually write a fucking story.
I do hate that they're doing the thing where Lex Luthor is the go-to bad guy. Like, anytime Batman's there, they got to have Joker. And it's just like, find something else. Or anytime Superman's there, they got to have Lex Luthor.
They couldn't put Darkseid in there because they did that already.
No, but so many people have such a large group of villains that they don't have to pull from like the big main one every time.
What would be, because I don't read a lot of Superman because he's boring, but what would you say, like, what would be a good mid to upper tier villain that's not like God killer like Darkseid and not so just generic like Lex Luthor, that would also have some audience like test market appeal?
I mean, I don't know. With an audience. I mean, if they did Mongol right, it could be interesting. They could have the League of Superheroes from the future,
or Bizarro Superman
type of thing. Bizarro might be a bit much for a reboot, though, to go straight into a Bizarro thing. There's so many different things that they could do where it does, like, they could have done Lobo as the villain, not a villain, but like as
or set it up
opposition
as, like,
instead of it being in Supergirl. They could have done so many different things. Superman doesn't have to be just on Earth either. There's so many times where he like goes different places and does different things.
Velvet Santa on Twitch suggested Silver Banshee or Parasite.
Parasite would have been sick. Or Metallo. They should.
Okay, Metallo
would be a fantastic villain to have as a Superman bad guy for a movie, because he could whoop him at the end of the movie. Because it's like, if he defeats Luthor, he just defeated his biggest of the big bads, right? Where does it go from there? If he beats Metallo,
Then there's more. There's more to go.
Yeah, there's more.
Interesting.
I've always liked Metallo as a Superman villain. So Parasite or Metallo would have been super cool. I mean, he could have fought a handful of different ones. Like, you know, he could have had what's the Legion of Doom kind of a thing, where Lex is like pulling some strings and Superman is fighting a
like leave Lex kind of as this, you know, hintable character throughout the movie, where you know that he's behind it if you know what's going on, and then like having a Legion of Doom, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, like a first iteration Legion of Doom would be pretty cool, and it could have Metallo and Parasite and the cheetah chick and whoever. Like there could be a whole handful of them, and that would make stuff interesting. You could have Solomon Grundy as a Batman villain.
Black Man to come back because he's awesome.
Yeah, you could come up with like a cool. You could lead to a Legion of Doom movie. That would be cool. But yeah, I mean they're going with Lex and generic.
Same old
whatever.
Well,
they could introduce Batman by having the OMAC come out to whoop Superman, and at the end of the movie, you're like, oh, it turns out that was a Batman project the whole time. I don't know.
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool.
Well, it's in theaters this week. You will be able to check it out. We will check it out for you. We will give you a review. We will give you a roundup, and we will talk about it next week. So stay tuned for that. Other things to bookmark your calendars for the following week, the 21st, I will be out of town once again. I'm going to New Orleans for Tales of the Cocktail. So just so you know, there will not be a program or an episode of the podcast from the 20th through the 25th. So sorry about that in advance. But I will be on a work trip. So with that said, let's review some movies, shall we? Let's talk about Jurassic. Let's talk about Jurassic stuff. Let's talk about Jurassic World Rebirth. Jurassic World. God. Okay. Jurassic World. Where do we start? Let me pull up some data here on these Jurassic World movies. There's Dominion. There's let's see. I gotta look these up at a physical list.
There's
Jurassic World 15.
There's the one in the middle,
Fallen Kingdom, and then Dominion, and then now Rebirth. So there's 4. There's now 4 of these Jurassic World movies. Jurassic World Dominion. I'm having trouble in my mind keeping them all. Which was the laser head raptors? Was that Fallen Kingdom?
Yes, that was 2.
And then Dominion was the one with the
volcano went off, and they were saving the dinosaurs against their best judgment.
Yes. Okay. All right.
And the mercenaries were going there to try and Noah's Ark a bunch of them off the island.
Well, and so this movie takes place several years after whatever, completely forgetting the part where in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom they cloned an entire human and just swept that shit right under the rug.
Like me.
They poo-pooed that completely, and they're like, all right, we got to get back. This movie is like, let's get back to basics. Let's get some of the original writers or whatever for the script. Let's get this team, and let's just maybe think that everybody forgot about all the Jurassic Park movies, and let's just make a Jurassic Park movie do-over. Let's just get some people that shouldn't be there in the jungle, getting chased by dinosaurs and trying to get the hell out. And what's really funny is a couple weeks ago when we were sitting on this show, and I was like, the only plausible plot line that I could ever see them doing a Jurassic Park in is if there was like a group of mercenary bad guys that were going to the island against everybody's best judgment to like steal some technology or do something they shouldn't be, and then, oh shit, a couple of them happen to be likable enough to where you care about them dying, and then they got to get out of there and make it a heist. That is exactly what this movie was.
Well, except they know they're going into the dinosaurs, and they're trying to get blood samples, right?
Yes. So
that's the whole thing.
The heist is a pharmaceutical company is like, money, and somehow they're like, okay, well, we need that fresh dino DNA. So they need to get blood samples from the biggest 3 because their hearts are so big that we're going to make a heart disease cure because we need the biggest samples because they have the biggest hearts. And so that science is out for us idiots in the audience that don't know how science works. But big heart equals big cure. And they had to go to the big swimmer one.
The mosasaur.
The mosasaur. They had to go to the titanosaur. And then they had to go to the big pterodactylus, the biggest of the pterodactyls, which doesn't strike me as the biggest of the bigs because I'm pretty sure that there are other things bigger than a pterodactyl. But I guess because of science, they needed a flying type.
Like Quetzalcoatlus?
The Quetzalcoatlus, yeah. So they needed a flying type for their Pokedex or whatever. And so they get there, and then of course, because plot, there's a family of this family, they're sailboating, and there's awkward family dynamics. You could tell that there's a divorce or something in the equation, and the teenage girl doesn't want to be here, and she dragged her shitty, crappy comic relief wannabe boyfriend on, who I wanted him to be the first to die, and he didn't. He was supposed to be like the comedic heart the whole time, and he was so bad. He was the worst part of the movie by a long shot. And if they had cut him out, if it was just a dad and his two daughters, I would have forgiven this movie a hell of a lot more if they had cut this kid out. So they're sailing close enough to the island that the mosasaur and spinosaurs or whatever manage to capsize their boat. And then, of course, the heist boat.
Why is the mosasaur sticking near the dinosaur island when we saw in the previous movies?
It could go wherever it wanted to. They cover this. So after Jurassic World Dominion and dinosaurs were at the zoo and all this kind of stuff, disease and climate change and the different type of oxygen that's in the atmosphere of our current world versus millions of years ago is different, and they can't survive, and so they all keep dying. But
between Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, there's several years, and they say they're thriving.
Correct. Well, something happened, and they didn't explain it, and there was a sneeze or something that went around the world, and all of the dinosaurs were dying off because they couldn't survive, except for around the equator where the climate was the closest to where, and somehow the diseases don't go there. But,
so still the entire diameter of the Earth is where the mosasaur could go.
Yeah.
And
but
hangs
it's
out
just
by this
hanging out by the island because the homies are there.
Sure, okay.
And this family, of course, gets knocked off their boat but not eaten by the mosasaur. And the heist boat picks up their distress signal, and they're like, "It's only 20 miles away. Let's go get them." And the big evil pharmaceutical guy, which is always an evil pharmaceutical guy, stealing, going back to basics. That this is just industrial espionage.
Weyland-Yutani.
Yes, it's it's Barbasol Can 2.0. This is all this movie is. And anyway, so they join up, and somehow we're supposed to give a shit about Scarlett Johansson and her just paper-thin, terrible performance alongside Mahershala Ali, who just acts circles around everybody in this movie, and he is a tertiary character at best. And then there's some student of Dr. Grant's that was brought along who also dresses like Dr. Grant for some ideological reason. I don't understand how anyway, whatever. But they get to the island, and they start they get the mosasaur blood, and they're like, yeah, hell yeah, we're doing this. And they're like, we just complete the mission, get our money, and get out. And then there's just all these inexplicable things, like T-Rex that somehow can't bite through. They must have had the rubber raft from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom that's so indestructible.
Falls from the plane.
Yeah, and it just lands down a mountain. Well, this rubber raft, the same yellow rubber raft, it's just a Spielbergian thing of impenetrable rubber rafts. Well, the T-Rex picks it up and is like, "Arr, arr, 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 arr," and then thump, and then gets back in the water, and they keep going on it. I'm like, what the fuck? And yeah, and
that's why they cut at that part in the trailer.
Yeah, because he chews it and then spits it back out, and then they're like, yay, and then they get back in the boat and whatever. A lot of inexplicable dinosaur survivals, but the scene that just set the tone for me really getting upset about this movie was the Titanosaurus scene, because they tried to recreate the magic of the
Brachiosaurs.
Brachiosaurs, where they're like, oh, the which, by the way, they beat those John Williams themes to death. Oh God, just recreating scenes over and over. But they're in this grass. They're looking for the Titanosaurus, right? They're like trying to get that sample, and they're in grass. That's like their heads are like above the grass, and they're like looking around. They're like, wow, I don't want to be quiet. There could be dinosaurs around, be very, very quiet while I dig for Titanosaurs. And then they're like, hang on, shh. And they're like looking around at this like sprawling vista, and then they see this like tiny little like serpentine like tail that like comes out of the grass, and it's like, what is this magical like this ribbon of skin that's just like dancing around? And then they look over, and then there's like that 40-story tall Tyrannosaurus that they somehow, and it like gets up out of the grass. It's like, oh, I was in this 5-foot grass the whole time.
I saw that clip. It's like the largest animal to have ever been on the planet ever.
Hidden in 5-foot grass.
It's genetically enhanced to be bigger than a blue whale. And yeah, there's like a small hill, and it like lifts itself up, and the CGI looks so bad in like this clip that I've watched, because it's like, yeah, this thing is literally 300 feet long.
It's the biggest.
Yeah, it's
the biggest one.
They're like, oh,
all of the creatures.
I didn't see you there. And then all of a sudden there's another one to the left also.
And
that's just been there the whole time.
Then there's like 20, and they're all in the vista that they've been looking at this whole time. And it's like they all went, peekaboo, we're here. The Titanosaurus is now revealed itself.
It had some of that Indominus Rex invisibility gene, huh?
And I'm just it was at that moment I'm like, are they even thinking about what they're doing? They're just recreating the scenes. And then it goes.
It was Kel Mitchell from Mystery Men. They can be invisible as long as no one
and
looks at them.
No one's looking at them. Exactly. And they then they go and recreate the scene where the raptors, where they're in the kitchen, the kitchen scene, and the raptors are like tick tick tick, and you're looking under the deal. They did that whole thing in like a convenience store scenario, which I don't understand why they had a convenience store on the science island, but whatever. But they had a convenience store there, and it was a gas station, because I guess you at a research facility that was privately owned and operated, you'd need to like purchase with other currency gasoline from a gas station that also sold Snickers. I don't know. I think all that would be provided for you, but whatever. And they were like not raptors, but they were like bird raptors. They were the mutant, like the flappy raptors
with skin wings.
Flaptors. That's what I'm gonna call them. There we go. They were flaptors, and they did the whole bit, and then they run outside of that, and then there's the big 4-armed like monster from what was that J.J. Abrams movie, the Cloverfield Lane?
Yeah,
like the Cloverfield monster like comes up and is like, roar! Remember, I'm the big new baddest one. I'm only gonna be here for like 10 minutes, but check me out. I'm gonna eat the helicopter that's gonna rescue you. Crunch! You're trapped here with me. And then what do? They get a red flare and go over here, dude. And they pull the whole Sam Neill, like, I'm gonna run away with this red flare, and it's gonna chase me, and it's gonna get away from us, and throw it away. And then they get off the fucking island in a boat, and then they did it, and it's da-da-da. And of course the bad guy corporation guy gets his comeuppance, because he's gonna.
That's how Jurassic Park works.
That always happens.
Unless you're B.D. Wong, and you just always get away.
B.D. Wong is the best character in all the Jurassic. B.D. Wong.
Does he come back in this one?
No.
Well, that's a lost opportunity.
B.D. Wong, period. I am I'm team B.D. Wong no matter what movie he's in, even if he's the bad, because I'm like, hell yeah, he's the baddest of guys.
Yeah, he's the coolest dude in the world in SVU.
He is. B.D. Wong rules. Thanks for the sub, for your apology on Twitch. But then, yeah, okay, and then they get in the boat, and, all these mercenaries are like, well, we could sell this for tens of billions of millions of dollars, because that's what they want to do. But you know what? And then Sam Neill goes, let's give it to humanity. And they go, you're right. And then,
that's crazy. Because in Fallen Kingdom, they're like, do I have a bid of $300?
Yeah, dude.
Fallen Kingdom, they have the dinosaurs, and they're like, do we have a bid of $300?
We'll start the bid.
Do I hear $350?
We'll start the bid at $1,000 for this raptor.
Yeah, and then they're like, this one will murder anything that you laser point. We'll start the bidding at $7,200. And they're like, sold. Oh my God! New record, everyone.
But
$10,000. You get the murder
going
dinosaur.
to the shake of like whatever continent. Anyway, no, but it illustrates a point, and you just helped me illustrate this point too. Is we have been so overwhelmed with bad Jurassic World movies that this movie couldn't possibly win. Like, there's no way that they could have. This movie could have been perfect, and it would have not been good because it's coming off of the coattails of 3 very terrible Jurassic World movies. And this movie is not, don't get it twisted. This isn't a bad movie in terms of Jurassic World movies. It's the best Jurassic World movie, but it's still not a good Jurassic Park movie because none of these movies are Jurassic Park movies. And it disregards and screws up the whole world that it created, and it's trying to just extract money from it while trying to think that we don't love Jurassic Park enough to remember all of our favorite parts of Jurassic Park, and so then they film them differently and put them on screen. They wonder why we don't like it. And
I did read something that the movie opens with them going, you know what the world's really friggin' tired of? Dinosaurs. And then it has a scene of like dinosaurs blocking traffic in New York, and people are like, hey, get this dinosaur out of here. Hey, get it out of here. And like no one cares that dinosaurs exist. And they just set up the whole movie for being like, they're like, we said it so that you can't think.
Why are we still making dinosaur movies? So there you go. That's all I'm really going to say about Jurassic World. I mean, I didn't give any spoilers away because you can watch this movie. I even telegraphed the whole, like, the arcs.
Everything you've said has been released in a trailer or an official clip of the film.
Yeah, and you can sit and you can pick the death order of every person. You're like, that guy's going to die, obviously. That guy's going to die. That guy's going to die.
Well, you get to see, like, 3 of them get wiped out in the trailers.
Only 8 or 9 people in the whole movie. And, you know, it's a missed opportunity. It could have, the whole mutant bull crap could have been done without. This is just a dead genre. Like, this movie, this franchise is dead, you know, and there's no amount of DNA you're going to extract and try and rebirth this. The fact that it's called Rebirth, don't even try to reborn this one. This one just needs to go away. And they wasted the only plausible plot line of a band of misfits breaking into this island for a heist. They screwed it. They screwed the pooch. It could have been just a Lost in the Jungle escaping from dinosaurs movie. And that's it. And that would have been fine. Or they don't escape. Maybe they all get eaten and it ends. And that's great too. Yeah,
well, like, dinosaurs are scary enough. You don't need to mutate them to make them more terrifying.
No, you're 100%.
Especially like the mosasaur, it's still a mosasaur, just way bigger. And that's one thing if you're like, it's it.
And I think that's what makes it cool is you're like, that thing did exist at a certain point. Wow. Look at a human being next to a thing that existed. What if they existed at the same time? That's a crazy thought to have. But then when you make a Godzilla monster from Cloverfield come out, you're like, well, that's just a monster. That's dumb.
Yeah, I mean, T-Rex is scary enough. The raptors from the original movies, Deinonychus, scary enough. The
Compies are scary enough.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and the Dilophosaurus is actually smaller than what they should have been, and they're terrifying in the first Jurassic Park. Yeah, you know, I mean, you don't need to add scary to dinosaurs because putting a human next to a dinosaur
is scary.
It's scary, yeah. They can all murder you in every way.
And that's what inevitably ruins all of these movies is they keep trying to like one up the last one and it doesn't work. And I hate that because Mahershala Ali is so great and I don't know. I mean, I guess that was a big check, but there you go. Jurassic World in theaters right now. You can check it out if you want to. If you like Jurassic World movies, you'll love this one because it's the best Jurassic World movie, but it is still a Jurassic World movie. at the end of the day. So there you have it. Jake saw Heads of State on Amazon. So I'm going to turn it over to Jake, and he's going to tell us what he thought about this new Amazon Prime movie.
Yeah. So I watched the new Prime movie, Heads of State, with John Cena, Idris Elba, and a whole lot of Priyanka Chopra. And it is it's theatrical quality. And talking about DNA, it pulls from the DNA of some other movies. White House Down, Olympus Has Fallen,
yeah.
Air Force One.
Okay.
Behind Enemy Lines. It has like all of these elements and thrown into this movie. But it works, man.
Really? Even with Jack Quaid in it?
Jack Quaid's one of the best parts of the movie.
Okay.
He's awesome. So it is a movie where John Cena and Idris Elba are the heads of state. Not First Kid Velvet Santa. So John Cena he's like a super cool version of Ronald Reagan, right? He's a movie star that has become president, and he's like an action star. It's like
what Trump wishes he was.
It's like Tom Cruise and Ronald Reagan put together.
Okay.
And so he's this new president. He's been the president of the U.S. for like 6 months, and he's going to meet with the Prime Minister of the U.K., who's Idris Elba,
who's also a big, swole action guy.
No, he's a former British military dude.
Okay,
and he's worked his way up through the ranks, starting with he grew up poor. He went into the military. He got into politics, worked his way through Parliament, and became Prime Minister. And he's been Prime Minister for several years. And they don't get along because Idris Elba had endorsed John Cena's
so this is
opponent in the race.
It's a Prime Minister and President buddy cop movie?
Yes.
Okay.
And so they both, to get over their public differences, because they have a bad press conference, they don't get along because Idris Elba endorsed John Cena's opponent. And so their advisors are like, Idris Elba should fly on Air Force One to show that the two of you were like strong, because they're unveiling this new partnership for NATO for like an energy thing. Okay. And so they're like, this will be good press. And then, so they both get on Air Force One, and then it comes under attack. There's someone on Air Force One that shouldn't be there, and he kills all these people. Air Force One gets attacked. It just gets all these drones and missiles flown into it.
Oh, geez.
Defenses are nothing because their radar visibility got turned on. John Cena, Idris Elba survived the crash, and now they have to make their way through hostile Europe and find their way to the NATO summit, because now, with the perceived death of John Cena, the vice president has authority, and when stuff
Who's the vice president?
Oh, it's she is in so many movies.
Okay, so nobody like huge that you're gonna go, oh man.
No, you would definitely recognize her, Carla Gugino.
Okay.
Yeah, but as soon as it's transferred, the system is hacked, and the bad guys that are trying to kill the president and stuff, they have the system, and now it's up to John Cena and Idris Elba to like fight back and save NATO. All of that makes it sound more complicated than what it is. All that's unveiled.
Oh, I guarantee it's probably not complicated.
Yeah, all that's unveiled over like the course of the movie, but it's just a fun action movie.
Okay.
It has elements of humor in it, but it's not overwhelming. Idris Elba and John Cena are both like believable in their roles, because like Idris Elba gives John Cena crap for being gym strong, or like, he has like movie muscles, and all this, and so they create this dynamic, and it works. Priyanka Chopra shows up. She's like a special forces MI6 like type person, and she's helping them, but yeah, dude, James on Facebook says Air Force One. Exactly. It has Air Force One stuff. It has Behind Enemy Lines. It has White House and Olympus. Yeah. It's just a good action movie. There's not too much to think about. There's enough of a plot and like enough of like a, hey, check this out, that you're like, okay, this is plausible and makes sense, and I'm engaged and I believe, but it's not like over the top or over your head, and it's not like subverting your intelligence by being like, here's just a bunch of dumb humor. It's like plausible action with enough humor to carry it. It's very much like an 80s action movie. It's like
buddy cop 80s action
a Stallone movie, a Schwarzenegger movie, a Jean-Claude movie, and it works. And yeah, it's a president buddy cop like film.
And did this come out on 4th of July weekend? It seems like it's been out for a minute, though.
Yeah, no, it came out just the other day.
Okay, because I've been seeing it pop up on my Amazon Prime.
Yeah, no, it's new release. So it was fun. I watched it because I was like, I'm just going to watch this so that I don't have to watch Jurassic World.
All right.
And it turned out that I did like it. I had fun with it. It was a good movie. I actually really liked it. And Idris Elba and John Cena both do a really good job. And it's fun. It's worth watching at home 100%.
All right. Well, it is out there at your home on Amazon Prime. If you guys have that, you can stream it, and you can check it out.
Velvet Santa says it's pants worthy, even though you don't need them 100%. This movie should have been released in theaters. It
probably would have done pretty well, you think?
I think they put it on home because it wouldn't have done well, but it should have done well. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it would be something that is in the theaters and you're like, oh wow, that's a great movie, and it just didn't make the money that you would think that it should, because so many people were like, just watch it at home.
Right.
So I think Amazon just
a lot of comedies are starting to be that way.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, it's not really a comedy. It's more action than comedy. It has comedy elements in it, like a lot of Class A action does. Like Tango and Cash. It's not quite Tango and Cash level of comedy, but more than...
But in the spirit of. Gotcha.
Yeah, like between T2 and Tango and Cash. It's like in that perfect zone of like...
There's quippies and...
Exactly.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of money, it's that time. I'm going to do the box office roundup for the 4th of July holiday weekend. Going to give you the top 10 movies in America, maybe some worldwide numbers where they are applicable. But Jake's going to give you the number 10, work our way up to number 1. This was a holiday weekend. Some big money's getting thrown around, obviously. So some of the movies like Jurassic World had that extra early couple of days release that brought some of their numbers up. So, Jake, take it away, number 10.
Yeah, at number 10, this is Spinal Tap, 41st anniversary. Brought in $930,000. It was only in 1,000 theaters.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, no, not bad. But
it was. I wanted to go see it. I looked at the times, and both the showings on Sunday were pretty much sold out. Yeah, we had it here at the AMC.
That would have been so much fun. I didn't even look because I was like, well, Jurassic World's the only thing that's out. Shame on me for not even checking, I guess. And then at number 9, Materialist, still hanging in there somehow, about a month out, $1.3 million this past week, bringing it up to $33.5, which is crazy that movie's brought in $35 million, and Life of Chuck only brought in $6 million total. And then at number 8, Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. Speaking of movies that should have made a lot more money than what it has, 7 weeks out, another 2.7, bringing it up to 191.2. But elsewhere in the world, it has brought in $385 million, so bringing that one up to $576 million. Definitely go watch Mission Impossible before it's gone. That's a watch in the theater movie.
It is fun. I like them.
And then at number 7, Lilo and Stitch, hanging in there still somehow, 7 weeks out, has brought it $3.95 million this past week, bringing it up to $408 million in the U.S., another $566 million elsewhere in the world. So just $25 million to go.
In the Billy Club.
Yeah. The Billy Club. Hit me with the
Billy Club.
And then at number 6, Megan 2.0, second week out. Wow, that sucks.
Yeah,
just under $4 million.
This was not what they were hoping for.
18.
They marketed the shit out of this movie.
Well, and I think the T2 thing is a double-edged sword because it has people, they're like, oh, dude, well, it's doing the T2 thing, and then other people being like, so it's not a scary movie anymore.
Exactly.
So. Yeah, hard to do that.
They thought that scary property was going to sell it, and horror movies. They go, I want to get scared. I want to watch it. This is an action movie now, not a horror movie.
It went from being a slasher to being an action. And if not everything can do the horror to action. I think Terminator worked because it was thriller and not slasher.
And Aliens did the same thing. Alien to
same
Aliens
thing.
was a horror to an action.
But it's same. It was a stalker thriller, not a slasher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what the science is there, but 18.7 million so far for Megan 2.0.
It hasn't done much better overseas either.
I bet it'll kick ass on streaming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
I'll watch
that's
it
going
on
to be a
streaming.
streaming movie for sure. And then holding the number 5 spot, speaking of horror movies, 28 years later, 3 weeks out, has brought it another 4.6 million, bringing it up to 60.2, another 65 million, so 126.5 for Hanging Dong in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 4, Elio, reportedly Pixar's worst movie ever, 3 weeks out, has brought in another 5.6 million. 55 million is all that it's grossed so far. Another 42 elsewhere in the world. So
hadn't even done 100 million.
Under 100
Get out of here, you garbage! Isn't that sad? Like I'm sure this movie's great, but didn't make 100 million. So who cares?
Yeah, Kato's over there with the thinking Megan will kill it at home.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely going to. It's going to be one of those like top 10 on Netflix for forever. And then at number 3, dropping in the number 2 spot, How to Train Your Dragon, another $11.25 million, bringing it up to 224 in its 4 weeks out. Almost 300 million elsewhere in the world, so it's over half a billion bucks. So.
Carl on Twitch asks, have we heard anything if Elio is okay or not? I've heard the reviews are pretty good. It's just not getting marketed well. And How to Train Your Dragon, they already knew that it was good, so they're going to go see it a second time. Whatever.
Losing the top spot to Jurassic World at number 2 is F1, the movie, bringing in just over $250 million.
Million. You said billion.
Yeah, well, 25.7. That's $250 million, I guess.
Got it.
That's what I was going for, because that's how math works. It's brought in 109 million total in its 2 weeks. Another 188 million elsewhere in the world, so 300 million so far for F1. That is a fun movie also.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good reviews, actually, coming out.
And then, of course, taking the top spot because Morbid Curiosity, Jurassic World, Rebirth, 92 million bucks for the weekend, but with the extended release, because I think it opened on Wednesday.
It did, yeah. It had an earlier release.
It brought in 160 million total in the U.S., another 175 elsewhere in the world, so 334 and counting so far in its opening.
I had a question from Facebook here before we get out of here. James asks, cannot find if Tron Ares will be in 3D IMAX. Any ideas? The idea is, I don't think anybody's going to watch that movie because it's going to have such a paper-thin plot line that they're going to have to depend on format gimmicks. So you better believe that thing's going to be in 3D IMAX because they got to sell tickets some way. And the Tron movies have always been, the Tron movie has always been billed as this sort of like light show, special effects, like look at this thing, because the story wasn't great. And so it's like big sound, big music, big Daft Punk, even though it's not in this one. So I guarantee you it'll be in 3D IMAX, but we'll see. I don't know, that's just my idea on it. So they're gonna have to sell those rezos. Okay, well, yeah, that's it. That's our show. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We appreciate you guys coming out and checking us out, even though we weren't on the normal day that we do it. But if you want to like and subscribe wherever it is you download your podcasts, that would be great. We love to hear from you. We do have a Discord that you can go and get all the stuff on the side, all the conversations, all the links, all the fun. And all the links to everything is on our link tree. Just driveinspeakerbox.com will get you access to that stuff. And I guess we're going to have to go see Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. We will see you next week.
See ya.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.